Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the GVE London Podcast. And today I'm joined with George and Andreas. And this is our first episode of 2025. So happy New Year to all of our viewers. Today we are doing what we do best and analysing the supercar and luxury car market. And we're going to start off with a interesting supercar that's come out of China called Yangwang.
Is that definitely the pronunciation?
Is it?
Don't look at me. But yes, it is the Yangwang.
Yeah.
Yang's Wang.
Yep.
No. No, it's just Yang. Wang.
The Yangwang.
Yeah.
But it's 180 grand,
Yeah.
which is quite a lot for an
Chinese
electric
electric car, yeah.
made in China. But, you know, it can jump over potholes itself.
I mean, that is pretty cool to think about it. You've got all the futuristic technology that you find in Tesla and everything else that comes with electric cars. But this is now the first one to avoid you from having deflated tyres or needing new tyres every other month. Because the amount of potholes in London is not something to joke about.
I mean, London's okay, but I think definitely your roads and surrounding areas, right? So when you get into the countryside, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
That is absolutely terrible. And you can end up messing up your
Suspension.
alloys, suspension and everything, right?
But how does it work? Does the car do it by itself, or you need to tell the car when to jump?
Can you get a video on, please, and let us see it?
Because I'd be interested to see.
Surely it will analyse the road in front the same way it has like detection to stop if a car's stopping or a pedestrian's coming across. If it can sense a hole in the road,
And then the car will just...
I'm thinking, though, that a lot of the futuristic cars have to have so much tech in them now that they prevent accidents from happening.
Yeah, but it's almost that case of, would you rather have control over the car as opposed to the car have control? Because if you come into a scenario where do I kill this person or kill that person, a computer is making the decision for you. Where it's almost like there's a pothole there. Do I jump? But then there's a slow bridge that I'm going under or something.
Human intervention. But I don't know. They're saying with AI now, it's gone a little bit crazy as well. Looks a little bit like a Lotus from the side, doesn't it?
I'm not a big fan of the spoiler.
Yeah.
The front lights look cool. They look like...
Oh, the front of it looks cool.
Yeah. Definitely copied the Purosangue lights.
No driver.
Do you know, this is off topic, but this is something this is reminding me about. It's actually a good customer sent this. They have made an identical Chinese version of the Ferrari Purosangue.
Oh, I've seen that.
Really?
Have you seen it? It looks exactly like it.
Exactly
the same. I think it's Toyota.
There's the jump. So it must be a button. I reckon there's a button that allows you to jump.
No.
That's pretty cool. I guarantee there's a button on
I
there.
put a bet down.
Can you put up the Chinese copy of the Purosangue as well, please?
A Toyota Crown Sport.
No.
Oh my God.
No way. Oh, is that actually a Toyota?
That's what it says. Toyota Crown Sport.
Oh, I see. So what they've made that Toyota
Look exactly like the Ferrari Purosangue.
Mate.
It's interesting to know they haven't put any copyright on the design. But even the wheels, the most intricate details, like the wheels are exactly the same. And they've even put the yellow badge there as well. It can't be Toyota. Okay, the big difference is the Toyota is not equipped with a V12.
Oh, right, yeah, that makes sense.
But it looks exactly the same. So it doesn't say the price. But it will guarantee probably going to be at least a quarter of the cost. At least.
No, less.
Yeah, it'll be less, but as a minimum.
Stays.
Or at most a quarter of the cost.
Well, yeah, there you go.
$46,000.
That's a tenth.
So that's, say, about £30,000.
£30,000.
A tenth of the price of a Purosangue.
Oh, my God. I'd go for that.
Yeah, but no one even likes the design of the Purosangue. The only reason anyone goes for it is like it's a Ferrari, it's got the V12 engine. But you wouldn't buy it for the looks. You buy it because it's a Ferrari. So I think Toyota sort of missed the beat on that one.
I don't know. It does look nice, but I still can't get my head around the fact that people have to pay nearly £500,000 to get into one of those.
It'll make more sense.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Go on.
That's as a fast crashing car because initially they were going for £50,000 or £60,000 over list, and now very easily you can buy them for about £60,000 under list.
Under list.
With probably 1,000 miles on it.
Oh my God.
And even them, they're not selling. It's just a lot of money for what's designed to be a daily driver.
Yeah.
You don't buy that as your weekend car or your special car. You buy that because you're meant to drive it every day.
So now, what kind of price point are they sitting at for the used versions of these? Then?
350 to 400.
And there were 500 and
500
plus the overs initially when they came out, if you were buying it not from Ferrari. So
I mean, you can get a low spec car for under 400 grand, which was still selling for best part of 500 grand.
What was the most expensive one we sold?
600, just over 600.
Oh my God, and it's worth 350 now.
Yeah, realistically.
That's got to be one of the biggest drops of 2024. Surely.
Up there, not the biggest. Up there.
Dude, that's... I mean, especially monetary, like, all right, fine, percentage-wise, fine, but in terms of monetary drop, that's £250,000 drop. No, is it? Yeah, £250,000.
Yeah,
from
the
600
overs
to
from the overs down to the list. Yeah, and you know what's really bad is the person who bought that car from us kept it in storage.
Yeah, not driven it.
Kept it here.
No.
Bought it for a student. For I think that. It was a student who bought it, but they were coming to uni here, and a year later, I said, I'll buy it now. Let's keep it there in storage. When we come for our holidays, we'll use it. Hasn't driven it, and it's lost the best part of £200,000 in that time.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I remember what I was doing when I was a student, and it definitely was in Ferrari. But I was like,
I mean, I'll be looking at them in Auto Trader, but yeah.
Oh, man, I was on the Magic bus in Manchester, working out how to get the best
What's a Magic bus?
No, it's like these blue buses in Manchester for students.
Oh.
Yeah.
They call it a magic bus?
It's a magic bus.
Ah.
Nothing to do with mushrooms.
Right.
No. So, yeah, it's crazy. What do you think? Is it a gimmick, this Chinese Yangwang supercar?
I mean, it can jump over potholes, but surely it can jump over speed bumps as well then, can't it?
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'd love to be able to jump over a speed.
That's quite interesting. It'd be good to know how high does it jump up. Because if it does jump over speed bumps, then how is it ever going to get around the laws? The whole point of the speed bump is to break the speed.
I mean, it'd be like, what is it, like James Bond, and you have your own button, and you're driving really fast.
It's not going to be a button.
Come on, I
different launch control, but a different
the
launch.
Chinese don't give a shit.
It's not going to be. I think we should put a bet on this publicly. It's definitely not going to be a button.
I bet you £10.
Okay.
There's going to be a button.
All right.
On camera.
Yeah, there you go. £10 says that there will be a button that can manually allow you to jump over a speed bump.
I think it will analyze the road and jump over when it sees it. Because imagine this. You're driving at 60 miles an hour. You need to calculate in your own head how quick does it take to jump up, how long will it stay up for, and then when does it drop back down? How big is that pothole? That's way too much for the driver to analyze while they're driving and at the same time thinking, when do I press the button? How quick do I press it? It has to see it, surely.
Do you know why I think it is? Because in that video, there is, where it jumps, there's not a pothole there. It's just like some kind of paint on the floor. And so...
But that's why it tricked the mind of the computer. It looked like it was griddled, like it had tiny little checkers thing.
But then that's bad then.
Yeah.
That means it might jump over something that's not a pothole.
Yeah.
That'd be annoying, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If you're just driving and suddenly it just starts jumping up and down.
Electric cars in total are annoying. So
no, they're not. They're fine.
They're so annoying.
What?
They are so annoying.
We've discussed this many times before, but I really don't think electric cars are the future. It can't be. They're just not sustainable. And you made actually a really good point about this, that how much electricity does it take to make a battery and dispose of a battery and then to generate the electricity to charge all those batteries?
It's definitely not good. I mean, like net is probably more environmentally friendly just driving your normal cars.
Yeah.
Right? But saying all of that, then you look at cities like New Delhi.
Yep.
Where they say if you just walk into the streets during the day, during peak rush hour periods, where most of the cars are diesel and whatever, that it's like smoking 100 cigarettes. The air quality is so bad that it's like smoking 100 cigarettes.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. There's probably, multiple African countries and whatever that are like that as well. So
yeah. But then those countries, because they're so gridlocked with cars, how could it ever work with charging the cars?
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Hydro has to be the way forward. Hydro technology.
The thing is, I was looking at some stats the other day about China. I mean, China's obviously, they're buying a lot of the Chinese electric cars, right?
Yeah.
But Mercedes didn't sell a single EQE in October in China.
Wow.
And Audi didn't sell one e-tron GT in October last year either.
In China alone.
In China alone.
But
so
does that have something to do with China now all of a sudden taking over the whole electric car market?
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, China's a bit of a separate example, being the fact that everyone's buying Chinese cars in China.
Because when we went out to Asia, it was everyone's talking about Chinese electric cars. It was taking over there.
If you look at barriers to entry back in the day for building your own car brand, right, would have been so tough. Like, are you going to outsource the engine? Are you going to get it from a different manufacturer and then put it in? Or are you going to try and create a facility that makes your own engines, right? Now it's like, just need to stick a battery in.
Yeah.
And then you got your gearbox.
Well, I just got back from Melbourne and I was driving around and I was like noticing all these different cars, brands I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, yeah, they're all Chinese electric brands. And I'm like, what the hell are all these car brands?
It's crazy.
And it's just just so many people just buying all these new brands. I've got no idea what they are.
Well, I think it goes back to the point that I think the big brands have rested on their, reputation, and we can always charge lots of money because we are Mercedes and we are Porsche. But I just don't think. I think the consumer's waking up now.
They don't really hold that clout that they had back 10 or 20 years ago. I mean, you'd hear it 10 years ago with the likes of Mercedes. People were like, it looks plastic on the inside. It doesn't have that same reputation or that same prestige it had 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's almost the same. It's like, if we're going for a premium electric car, why am I going to go and pay £100,000? We had an EQS over here, a premium luxury edition, whatever it was, listed at 150,000. We sold it to a director or waitress for 100,000 at the time.
Oh my God.
And it's like that big of a hit in a couple of thousand miles. That's still big money. And now if you look at what BYD are doing in comparison, why? Like, if it's an electric car, you pay before the extras for your luxury and you pay the extras for the performance of a car. But if it's just an electric car, it's serving you a purpose. You don't really care about what it does. It's just an electric car.
I think this is the big thing, right? I don't think I'll ever be wanting to buy a electric car to have fun in.
Yeah.
Right? The electric car is to get from point A to point B. And if you can do it in luxury, that's really nice. That's great. But otherwise, then having a supercar alongside that, having a luxury car, just having a supercar alongside it now. I think the days of, wouldn't you love a S-Class?
A fun daily or a luxury daily.
A luxury daily. I think that's out the window now. Why are you going to do it?
It's true. And to be fair, if you're looking for a luxury daily, you can't get better than electric. It's as quiet as they come. It's as comfortable as they come. And
so cool.
The Spectre, as an example, is probably one of the best Rolls Royces made, because Rolls Royces, their main way of developing a car was you should be able to sit in the car and not hear the engine. Yeah. That's an electric car. You should be able to sit in the car and balance a water on the dash, and you won't be able to see it vibrate. Electric will do that for you. So that's perfect for luxury.
So we were talking last time about having a problem with an electric, and I did recently. So
to charge the car.
I forgot to charge my car, and then it was 15 miles I had left on the dash, right? And I had to go, up the road, 10 miles up the road. And so I'm driving 10 miles up the road, but because it's so freezing cold, and this is when it was snowing and everything, I'm using a lot of power, and suddenly that 15 miles has turned into 5 miles. And so now I've had to rush down to the closest service station, charging station, right? I get there and I'm on 1 mile left. Oh, God. And I pull up, and there's 5 people waiting in front of me for the fast chargers. And I'm just sat there, and it goes to 0 miles, and luckily just enough just to get me to the charging bank. Is it worth
the risk? Imagine that service station was closed for an example.
Oh, by the way, waiting for 5 people is not like waiting for 5 people that are getting fuel.
Oh, it's 45 minutes an hour per person, right?
Man.
How long did you wait for?
20 minutes.
It's not that. You probably did all right there.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst, but still it was annoying.
But imagine you were on the motorway and all of your electricity in the car drained, and you've got 0 miles and you're stranded there, you're not just going to walk away and go and get some fuel and fill up in the car. You can't walk away.
I do wonder what happens in those scenarios, but yeah.
It just has to get towed away. The car will have to get towed.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Or a diesel-powered car will come and rescue you.
Yeah.
This is the full circle.
What would be really cool, actually, is if someone develops a generator, a portable generator, where you fill it up an extra tank of, like an extra battery that you carry around with you. If you ever get low, then you can suddenly connect this adapter, like you get for your phones.
And it gives you a 10-mile boost.
Yeah, it gives you 10, 20 miles, whatever. That would be pretty cool.
Picture people with like
There you go. That's a business idea.
I picture people with big roof boxes on their head. It's just a big battery.
Yeah, it's a massive battery.
big cord
Whoever
that plugs
comes
in.
up with that is going to become a billionaire, by the way. So
I'm pretty sure it's
A charger pack.
no, I don't think so. A charging pack for electric cars. I think that would be a sick idea.
Sorry to break your hearts, though. The AA are already doing this. That is how they're recovering broken down electric cars.
Oh, but no, they should make it a more consumer-friendly
Yeah.
thing. So why are you going to call it AA?
If you break down, that's what
drive
they're
around
doing. They'll pull up behind you and they'll give you a temporary power bank, 10-mile range, just so you can get to where you need to go.
You don't need AA.
And you don't need AA for that now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for it.
That's true.
Because George's charging banks are coming out. GCB. Yeah, GCB. One thing that I found out that was quite cool recently, I was speaking to a guy that works for an energy company, and he said you can negotiate a tariff where your electricity is cheaper at night. And it's because the grid has a lot more being used from it during the day, and they try to encourage people to use it at night, right? To charge. And so he said it can be up to half the price.
No way.
Of what your energy tariff is if you use it at night. So charge your car at night.
It makes
There
more
you
sense.
go. And now
That's
put those two things together. It's
Yeah.
pretty much costing you nothing to charge your car.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It does make sense because, you know, when people come home from work, there's a big surge of electricity. People want to make dinner, watch TV, you know, so you'd see that. And then when people go to sleep, then there's not much electricity being used at all from 10 to 6 a.m., whatever it is. So that would be the perfect time to charge your car.
Yeah, 100%. Other than the people that are watching Yangwang on YouTube at night.
Or
jumping over potholes at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, there you go.
Talking of the Yangwang, I've been doing a little bit of research, and to conclude your little bet you had.
Okay.
So this is what ChatGPT has come up with.
But ChatGPT is not going to know
Yeah,
about it.
No, but I've confirmed this with a couple of my close sources.
Yeah.
The Yangwang U9 features an advanced suspension system known as DeSUS X, enabling the vehicle to perform actions such as jumping over obstacles. This system operates autonomously, detecting obstacles and adjusting the suspension without manual intervention. As such, there is no dedicated button for the driver to activate the jump feature.
That's right. and just so you know, right, Bruce can put a button in. All right, so piss off. Well, what's the point in buying the damn thing now then? You know, that was the main feature.
You can put little things in front of the road and make your own little course and make it jump everywhere.
Yeah, but that's... Yeah, all right, whatever. Okay, so talking about electric cars, you've got Elon Musk has now deployed 500 Cybertrucks to assist
I saw that.
with the fires that are going on in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food and Wi-Fi and stuff.
What's his Wi-Fi called? Elon Musk's.
It's the satellite. It's the Starlink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just touching on that Starlink, how awesome is it?
Isn't that the way you're able to get
Wi-Fi anywhere.
on the planes?
On the planes, in ships, in...
Really?
So, because I went through a bit of a period where I didn't have broadband.
Yeah.
Everyone kept saying, get Starlink, get Starlink. And I researched into it.
Is it easy to get?
You can get it from Currys. You can get
No
it from
way.
Costco. Costco sell it.
Okay.
But this is the most powerful Wi-Fi in the world. Like, you can be in the most remote areas. People who live in villages where Wi-Fi is really hard to get, they use Starlink. And
No way.
you can get the quickest internet through Starlink.
Isn't that amazing?
So that is pretty cool.
And did you get it for your house
No,
during that period?
I was about to, but then I managed to get the
internet
broadband
working.
sorted. Yeah.
That's interesting. I might look into that.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, pretty cool gesture from him. But I think maybe more of a marketing
I think that's a
ploy.
marketing scam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a scam. Sorry, a scam.
Yeah, but just it's like a way for him to become current,
yeah.
isn't it?
And he said some pretty controversial things recently.
Yeah, what was it? Tommy Robinson.
Yep, Tommy Robinson, and he said something about someone else doesn't have a backbone. Was it our current?
Oh, it's no, it's what's his name? Farage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he getting so involved in UK politics?
He should just stick to making cars and sending rockets to space.
I'm putting Cybertrucks out there to look out for wildfires.
But it's you know what? It's definitely him trying to exercise some political influence. There's always a ploy. There's always something. And that would probably be the fact that he would want some sort of investment into the UK or something like that.
Really?
To come in, surely. So here's an interesting one. I didn't expect this, but in 2024, Lambo sold 10,700 cars, which was an improvement on 2023, just 10,100. I thought that the growth has started to slow down. I mean, actually, the growth in numbers of sales has probably started to slow down.
Yeah.
In comparison to, you know, when we came out of COVID and whatnot, where it must have spiked up.
I think on the used market, 100%, the growth would have slowed down. But on brand new cars, you look at how many models they're releasing and how frequently they're releasing it. And almost people who are buying Lamborghini and Ferrari feel like they have to play the game. Like, we have to buy the new model that's coming out. We have to buy the STO. We have to buy the Cerato. We have to buy the Technica in order to get...
that's still happening?
1,000,000%, because they're going to be doing an SV version of the Rover Alto.
But I heard that they're not doing an SV version.
Okay.
Let's
do another bet.
No,
doing
but
one.
they're definitely
It's probably
doing
going to come into this year as well.
I've heard it from customers are saying that Lamborghini or their dealers are telling them, buy this, and when the special edition comes out, we'll get it, buy the Urus SE.
But I suppose it's not going to be called a SV.
It could be something different, but it'll be like their road focus version. I think it will be SV, because the SV's been going on since, like, you got the Diablo SV, and then you've got the Murcielago SV, Aventador SV.
I thought this as well, but one of our customers recently, who has a couple of revs and whatnot, turned around and said, no. He said that they've said there's not going to be a special version. They're just going to release a different type of car.
Lambo seem to be taking the mick at the moment, though, because they said, well, we'll release a Roadster. We're not going to release a Roadster. And then they went back to saying we will, and now they've gone back to they won't. So.
They won't. And not only that, they cut back on the amount of Rover Altos they've released, right?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of teething issues with the ones that are coming out.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Is that the reason why?
All the hybrid technology. So a lot of people who were meant to be buying them at the beginning of January, taking delivery at the beginning of January 24, then got delayed till March. So there's been a massive pushback with all these cars coming out. And I think then the factory held back production. Yeah. There's a massive pile up on them in all the dealers. Yeah. So for 3 months of cars that were meant to be delivered have all been stuck at the dealers getting these issues rectified, factory recalls. Yep. They had to then stop the production in the factory. But coming back to your point about the cars and the sales going up, it's also the end of the Hurricane. Yep. So imagine how many Technicas they pushed out. It's the last chance they have to make the most of that V10 engine, last chance they've got to make the most of that gearbox, that chassis that's been running since 2014.
It's crazy.
That's 10 years on that same chassis. So they must think about the amount of spare components they've got and bits they can use together to just put away the last bunch of these cars. The Technica being the very last one, but it's rear-wheel drive.
I mean, we say 10,700 like there's a lot of cars, but that actually...
Very small number.
Can you imagine?
Very small number.
So small in comparison to manufacturing of cars, right?
BMW, Mercedes, 2 million cars.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you think they do that in a month?
Yeah.
Most manufacturers?
Yeah, it's nothing. But yeah, he's right. It's about how many customers have we spoken to that they've been pushed Technicas into them, and then they've been buying them at list price, and then they've just dropped.
Feel so
and they've
sorry
all
for
just
them.
like, you paid 250 for it. Now it's worth 200, 190.
And it's playing the game with the right brands. With Lambo, like, what is the real upside? Because, you can lose £80,000 on a Technica. What is the highest amount you're ever going to make? Like, on the SVs, when you're lucky and you get an early one, you can make 100 grand. But is that worth having to lose 80 grand on every model? Buying a Urus Performante, losing 40 grand.
Yep.
Urus S, losing 20, 30 grand. It just...
But these people that would have bought the Technicas would have said, get a Revuelto, to potentially make your money. Now they're going under list as well. So
The
Revueltos
are now.
you know, we can get them. I can get them 30, 40 grand under list.
Bloody hell.
You know, so it's like, what cars they're going to get? Like this SV, they're going to make probably 500 of them, maybe maximum.
More.
They're going to make, or a little bit more, maybe.
Because the
you know?
SVJ was
Yeah.
800 roadsters, 900 coupes.
Yep.
Pretty sure that's the case.
I just think the future of the market is more to do with all the stuff that's becoming classic now. So just like you've said before so many times, SVJs, look at them. They're just going, while the Revueltos are going down, the SVJs are going up.
Yep.
It's just what a great car.
Yeah, it's quite funny actually saying the classic stuff, because Ford have jumped onto this and they have taken the very first Mark 1 Escort and they've rebuilt it and have said to their top end clients in Ford that you can now buy. They're releasing, I think, 100 of these, and it's coming out in 2026.
No way.
It's going to be something ridiculous, like £200,000 or £300,000, but it's a Mark 1 Escort.
Love that idea.
It's disgusting.
Yep.
We've been offered 2 so far. We've got the spec of it.
What's so disgusting about it? Let's have a look
It's
at
an
it.
actual classic car.
Yeah, but no, but why is that
magnificent.
disgusting?
I've never been a fan of classic.
You don't like classic cars,
Yeah, I've
but
never
it's
been a
like
fan
what
of
Singer's
classics.
done with the 911. They've got an old 911, but they've modernized it.
But I think that is the future then, because I do often think, right, that at this level of supercar, you know, we're at a point right now that probably the next jump up is going to be cars flying,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, that will probably be the next big leap up, right? And even in Dubai, where we're talking 2040, by 2040, I believe it is, that they're expecting that there'll be flying cars in Dubai.
Wow.
Haven't they've already developed it?
They've already developed prototypes.
Yeah.
And I think there's like one company that's doing it at the moment, but they are wanting taxis.
I can imagine that.
Like that.
Because the first thing you think about is, okay, you've got road markings that's safe for traffic, but how do you control traffic in the sky? But it's already happening. You've got drones delivering parcels via the sky.
Oh, easy.
So they must have a way of like trafficking and keeping traffic in
Of course, it'll be to do with like autonomous flying, which then, you know, AI, and it's all talking to one another. So the chances of having a crash are virtually nil, because there's no human error, right? It'll all be computer.
That's probably the safest place to be. There's so much that happens on the ground. You're talking about pedestrians jumping in, animals, different cars coming in and out. But if it's up in the air, you've got so much space to make use of.
Yeah. Show us the picture.
That's the one.
That's pretty cool.
Brilliant.
Man.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool. I'd rather turn up with that in Mayfair than
Then an SVJ.
That's so good.
No, I'll take that back.
Yeah.
I'll take that back.
That's a great idea.
I think you were blinded by the lights. That's all your eyes were adjusting. I'm not so sure.
I had a moment of realization. That's cool as a novelty. Like,
There's a massive
Someone
following
think you've
for cars
turned up
like
in a
that,
10
though.
grand
I can
banger.
imagine.
Yeah, but like,
You can get one of those from like a scrapyard and polish it up a bit. Be like, yeah, here you go. It's the same car.
I'll tell you what, Chinese could definitely replicate that.
Yeah,
That'd be
100%.
easy.
Make it, yeah.
They would be like, why are we going to do that? All right. On to a story that we've just recently noticed about a guy who sold his house to buy a Lamborghini Urus S and then convert it in some shape or form into a camper van.
That's so cool.
no.
And drive around the world in
Oh,
it.
yes, I've seen this. Yeah, I have seen
And
this.
so from all the content that he's making, he's going to generate revenue, and then he's going to...
That is incredible.
That keeps him living.
I've seen it, and his socials are blowing up. This
Really?
guy is traveling the world, which, to be honest with you, is my dream. To think that I could do a road trip in the world, go from one country to another. You're the master of like the road, like you're going wherever you're going.
Yeah.
And this guy's gone and done it in Lambo like that.
That is cool.
That is incredible.
I do wonder,
Hats off
though,
to him.
how's he converted it in the back? But still, can you lie down in that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And push the front seats all the way forward.
Personally, I would have probably rather done it in a G-Wagon, where you know it's going to 100% be solid. You're going to go through some crazy terrain.
That's what the G-Wagon's built for.
Yeah.
Actually,
And you've probably got more space up and
That's
long
quite
ways.
what I would have went for, a Cullinan. A Rolls Royce Cullinan. And
With a
do you know
tent on
what?
the roof.
Yes, and from factory have the picnic tables on the back, So I can actually sit outside, have a picnic, and that's what the car's designed for.
I've just seen George rocking up at Mayfair, have a night out, and then getting his Cullinan outside, bag a towel, and then jump in the tent and sleep.
If I've sold a house or whatever to go and get a car to travel the world, I won't be in Mayfair. I'll be in some random desert somewhere.
Someone's already beaten you to it.
A Cullinan?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a Cullinan?
That's a Cullinan.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. So they made
That
it into a
makes
camper
sense.
van.
Yeah.
My God.
That makes sense.
Oh my God.
Someone
I mean,
actually,
to be honest with you, it's quite a very cool idea.
that is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I would have that Ford Escort Cosworth thing any day. That's
Yeah?
more me than that a Urus camper van. That is, oh my God, horrible. Horrible idea.
But okay, this is what's really enticed me about traveling. Like, you can fly somewhere. Okay, flying's great. You fly, you get there, but you miss the whole journey. This world is so big and like so big for us to explore. You get in a car and that's it. You can stop off an hour in the journey. You can stop off 2 hours in the journey. Like
Yeah.
road trips are a bit more in touch. Like it's a bit more special doing a road trip.
See, I think I like that idea, and then I'll get pissed off after 2 hours, and I'll be like, I wish I just took a flight.
4 or
Just
5
wish
people
I
you could
took a
swap,
flight.
swap
Yeah,
drivers.
I'm the same. 100% the same. The flight's so much quicker. You get there so much faster.
And you
It's
get to
the whole point
enjoy
of
the
plane.
destination a lot
Yeah.
more.
And then, okay, that's getting directly to the destination, but you should enjoy the journey to the destination.
Ah, that's a
Value
motto
the
for life.
yeah,
Huh?
value the journey as well.
Okay.
I think Andreas saw that firsthand.
And if anybody wants life coaching sessions, George is available.
Value the journey, not the destination.
Okay, so 1 second. So he's got cooking facilities, Starlink internet. There you go.
Yeah.
And a solar panels. This is amazing, enabling Connor to live on the road comfortably. His journey has taken him across European countries with the ambition of visiting every nation worldwide, including challenging destinations like North Korea.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit stupid. I wouldn't do that. That's,
Why the hell would you
I
take
don't
a Urus to North Korea?
That's just
where
asking.
people
Yeah.
live on
That
a
is just
standard
asking.
way.
At least they can test their nuclear weapons on something then.
Yeah, exactly. There
Yeah.
you go. How fast can you run away from this?
And Top Gear did one of those challenges. It was like try and dodge these bullets. It was a plane that had targeted missiles.
No
and I
way.
can't remember what car it was. He had to try and dodge all of them.
Oh my
That's
god.
what this guy's probably thinking. That'd be pretty cool to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck to
So, in the last couple of days, we've put it out to our followers to ask us some questions on the podcast, and I'll crack on with it. But Emil's asked, what is happening to the 812 market?
812 Superfast is very stable at the moment. I think we saw a bit of a drop. Well, if you would look at the overall market from pre-COVID, they took a massive drop, and
That was
they were
crazy
like
during
sub,
COVID.
yeah,
170,
yeah,
180.
it's crazy. Anyone who picked up an 812 around that time is laughing. And then post-COVID, they jumped up massively back to the 260, 270 mark. And now I think they've found a stable ground between 220 to 230 is a stable price for them. And I think why they found a stable ground there is because the F12 has found its floor. I can't see the F12s really falling much from here. The 599s,
The
which is
F12's at
F12, for a nice example, 140 to 160.
such good value for money.
Great value for money.
And such a big difference from the 599.
Yeah.
599s have dropped. Like
Yeah.
they're under 100 grand now, and you think the F12 should have done the same, but the F12 has stayed
I
at
don't think it will.
140.
I don't think it will.
Completely
And
different.
surely it's got to have its place in like
Yeah.
a classic state.
The F12 is just such a far better car all round than the 599, and people are realising that now. And
Whereas the 812 isn't such a big...
yeah, because the F12 was such a good car. The 812 is just a better version of the F12,
Yeah.
but it's not that much better than the 599. The F12 was to the 599.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
funny because a lot of people who bought an 812 said they actually prefer the F12.
No way, because it's more dangerous.
A lot more dangerous. They felt like there was less electronic programs,
intervention,
interventions helping you, and the noise on an F12 as well is a lot louder.
Yeah. Okay, Stu Jones. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on what you think will do better in the market in the next 2 to 3 years. The Huracan Performante, 812 Superfast, or Aventador?
I think all three would do very similar.
You reckon?
I think they'll kind of...
Depends which models though. Which one?
Yeah.
are you saying?
I wouldn't say the Aventador is going to be
the normal
in that
Aventador.
bracket, right? Because if it's a normal Aventador,
Yeah, I'll
there's so many of
disregard
them
that.
out there, right?
So the three choices: Lamborghini Performante, Huracan
Huracan
Performante.
Performante.
Huracan Performante, 812 Superfast, or Aventador?
Okay, yeah, disregard the Aventador, unless it's an Aventador SV or SVJ or something. Then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
812, I think, is going to be iconic because the Daytona, which has just been released, not the Daytona, I've already started calling it a Daytona. It's the V12 cylindry that looks like a Daytona. Is hideous. I don't know anyone who likes it. They are so ugly.
I don't mind it.
Do you know what? It's slowly
growing on you.
Slowly growing on me.
It's funny. Just had someone walk in today. His dad bought a Cullinan black badge from us a little while ago, and he came to look at the 812 GTS, and he was like, "I went to Ferrari, and they were forcing me to take a V12 cylindry, but I can't get over the looks. Like, it's disgusting." Absolutely disgusting. When you see it in person, you think, it's one of those things, you see it in person, it might be nicer, but he just couldn't stop going on for a good 5 minutes about how disgusting that car was and how beautiful the 812 is. That's from someone who's seen both cars back to back now.
I feel the same way about the Parasangway, to be totally honest with you. That car has just not grown on me whatsoever. Yeah. I just can't sometimes gel with it.
Yeah, when you try and adapt something too much, it just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
I think the 12 cylinder is ahead of its time, though. I think give it a few years and then people look back and go, actually, wow, that does look really good.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's a very drastic change to the design. Everyone's just like, what are you doing, Ferrari? But trust in the brand. And I think it's... Yeah, I think when the Daytona came out back in like the 60s and the 70s, everyone would have said the same thing. They go, oh my God, look at this. Now the Daytona is a beautiful looking car because it's aged so well. So I think... It's
the classic look. But trust in the brand is one thing. Ferrari have made some ugly cars.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Ferrari have made some 100%. Very ugly cars. And I just think this one's going to fall into that bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Ferrari do that shooting brake that looks like a hearse? I can't remember the name.
That was Lambo.
Ferrari did one as well. They did a shooting brake and it looked disgusting. The 356, they've done one of those. That was a disgusting car.
The 400.
Yeah.
That was hideous.
But sometimes in order to create a thing of beauty, you have to iterate, right? What are your thoughts on the Land Rover Defender 90? Is it even worth going near almost new example? Or is it going to depreciate a lot?
I mean, Defenders... are like Range Rovers, really, aren't they? You know, I mean, they make a lot of them, so the values wise, they're just going to drop. You know, I mean, I think the Defender's a nice car. I do
like the 90s actually. They're so compact.
Isn't the 90s? They actually are doing quite well at the moment because you can use them under your business because it's technically a van, and you can you can 100% put that through your business. So someone's done this. He's a customer. He bought the 90. And because it's a two-door and you don't have windows in the back, he converted it, kept it on the logbook as a commercial van, but then converted it, put seats in the back and chopped it and put doors in the back as well.
No.
Yep.
No, Land Rover actually make a commercial version of the Defender.
Yeah,
which
the 90.
you can then can then put into your business.
Yeah.
Wow. And which then you can amend to put seats in the back.
Yeah. I mean, Land Rover went through that. But
this is not advice.
He's got away with it.
A customer that has done that. Okay. Andreas Maldonado asks, which first supercar would you recommend to somebody in their 20s? And do you have many clients in this age bracket?
Loads. Especially now with the whole crypto spike. It's we're getting so many younger people buying cars from us. Insurance is now a lot easier to get.
Is it?
Well... I think the insurance market have now seen that there's a spike in younger people buying cars. So they've probably explored avenues of how they can get it. It's still very expensive. Yeah. But whereas 5 or 7 years ago, insurance companies would have said, no, we're not giving it. They'll put a price on it, knowing that money can buy anything.
Okay. I mean, what supercar would you recommend then?
It depends how your budget wise, you know, you can go anywhere between 30 to 40 grand will give you a nice sort of Gen 1 R8, you know, or you're going to go up to 100 grand, which you can get yourself into 570, you know, or, you know, there's some other 20-year-olds that have 765 LTs, you know, so it depends how much.
This is probably going to show my age now. I'm trying to be a bit more sensible.
You? Wow.
I don't think a 20-year-old should be trusted with a supercar.
No. Yeah. I mean, look.
A powerful supercar, I think.
We're assuming the 20-year-old's a boy, right?
Yeah.
A guy. And when you're 20 years old, you've got a lot of testosterone.
Yep.
And you do silly things.
You want to show off. You've had 2 years, legal years of experience, and now you're handling almost the best part of 1,000 brake horse, 700, 600 brake horse, you should not be allowed to do that in your first couple of years. You're a danger not only to yourself, but to others on the road.
Right. I agree.
Wow.
And I think...
George for Prime Minister.
No, I think there's definitely cars out there
George
that
Farage.
could work. But it should be... What was that, George for?
George Farage.
George Farage. Like Nigel Farage. Please don't kick me out of the country. I want to stay.
Don't realise what I was saying, man.
20-year-olds with supercars shouldn't have them.
Yeah, okay, no, there are cars they could be buying.
Yeah.
Luxury cars are fine, Rolls Royces and whatever, that's fine. You can't really cause damage with that. But I think McLaren shouldn't be allowed for them. You shouldn't be like into Ferraris or Lambos unless it's the 4x4.
Yeah.
There's
I mean, look, we've
cars.
seen it with some stupid influencer guy who went and crashed his car. And that is a typical example of this.
It's someone who's like...
And put other people's lives at risk. You know, that's just...
And it's so easy. Like, you have one thing when you have guns and you call them trigger happy. This is like pedal happy, you're foot happy. It's so easy. Just think, oh, it's a clear open road. Let me just put my foot down. You put your foot down and that's it. The back tire starts spinning. You spin out, you go somewhere. It's so much power to handle. It should almost be like you need... Unless, this is actually a pretty cool idea.
I know what you're going to say.
Well, they do a
special
supercar course. Yeah, they do a special course and they learn about how to drive and how to handle them. Which,
and for £500, guys, we are offering this course.
But isn't Australia doing this? So in order to have a supercar in Australia, you now need to have a special license.
Yes, you need a supercar license to drive a supercar. But Australia's been doing that for a long time, though. They've had these in place that you have to be a certain age to drive a certain power of car, you know, so that's not new. But now they've gone, actually, they've done exactly the same thing. These kids... under 25 should not be driving these supercars, you know, and you need a certain amount of time, hours of driving and training or whatever to know how to drive these cars. So you need this certain license.
I agree.
So supercar training, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay, Nav Sandhu. Is the McLaren 570S a reliable car and is it going to lose value in the future?
In today's day and age, I think it's a very good buy. In comparison to what they're going for brand new and value you get for your money. Ridiculously quick cars. They look like a £200,000 supercar.
It's a great everyday car.
An amazing everyday car. Now, do they have issues? Yes. You will have issues on McLarens if you leave it parked up and don't use it. It's inevitable. However, if you drive it, make good use of it, maintain it correctly, this whole stigma that's attached to the McLaren brand needs to vanish because they make awesome cars, probably one of the best driving cars you can get. As long as you look after it and you drive it and don't just abandon them in a garage, you will have the best time ever in your McLaren ownership.
Wadsworth asks, if George had one car to last him the rest of his life, what would it be and why?
One car to last me the rest of my life.
It's impossible because you just change your mind after like a few weeks.
No, so I'm thinking deeper into it now. It'd be something classic, whatever's got the highest value. So when I get closer to the end of my life, I just sell it and there's a big retirement fund there.
No, but
you wouldn't use it if it's a classic car.
No, but this is for the rest of your life. So
I can't sell it.
You can't. Well, no. Your kids could sell it.
You need to use it. You can't buy a car to sit in the garage. You have to use it.
And this will be your only car that you're ever going to have.
One car.
One car.
Wang? Fuck, this is hard. I'm going to have to go with what my favourite car is at the moment, like an SVJ. Either an SVJ or
so you're going to go to the bloody supermarket in an SVJ?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
David Lloyd.
And then when you've got kids and stuff like that, you're just going to have to go on the bus.
Oh, no.
Because your SVJ's at home.
No, then it'll be... Mrs. will have to take them in her car, whatever it is.
Oh, God.
Because it's either the SVJ or a Koenigsegg Jesko.
Okay.
I would completely keep it super or hyper. 1,000,000%.
Do a Gemera. At least it's 4 seats.
Yeah, we haven't. It's not trialed and tested yet, so can't go that far.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Gemera, yeah. Is it Gemera? Gemera, yeah. Gemera.
It's a V6 though.
Okay. Umar asks, I have a finance settlement figure that's larger than the value of my car. What should I do?
So that is called negative equity. So unfortunately, you would need to get a finance settlement letter, and then you would need to know the difference between or the person's given you for your car, and then you need to pay the difference.
In order for you to sell your car, you'd have to pay off the negative equity.
Correct.
And then get into the next car.
That's
you
right.
can sometimes, in some options, if you were to part exchange it, you can find a special lender who may fund negative equity. There is an option out there for that. So if someone's out there with negative equity and they're thinking, I'm upside down in the car, I don't want to pay a lump sum of 20 or 30 grand, you can find specialist lenders who will fund that if you buy another car. So yeah, there's ways around it without you having to pay a lump sum to get out of the car, as long as you buy something else.
It's interesting. So I actually think that was quite a good segment to the podcast, because I guess a lot of our viewers have so many different questions that they're unsure of. You know, it's quite a daunting thing, right? Trying to go into the supercar market, especially if you've not done it before. Go and buy a supercar, know that you're buying the right thing, hoping that you've not bought something that's going to be a dud and just going to lose you a shitload of money in time. So I actually quite like that, and I think that this segment going forward would be really good.
It's nice to try and connect back with all the followers as well.
Yeah.
I think everyone has their own way of contacting us, but we don't get to do it in every day. This is the perfect way to give back.
And given how much we have to be in tune with the market every single day, I think this is a good way to, help out our followers. But also, on next week's episode, what we're going to do is have Supercar Bruce, come in and also take some questions. So if any of our viewers have questions about fixing or maintaining their supercars, make sure you get in touch. Okay, so on to Andreas's find of the week.
Yes.
Now we've got an Alfa Romeo 8C that sold on collecting cars for £201,000.
Yes.
I mean, these things are bloody beautiful, I have to say.
Yeah.
There's such pretty cars, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 2008 car. It's been some time now. So that's what, nearly 17 years, right?
Yep.
And they're listing for £110,000 when they're brand new.
Yep.
And I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, I think that's a great investment. I think people sort of don't overlook. Overlook Alfa Romeo as a type of brand. It gets overshadowed between like Ferrari, Lamborghini as an Italian brand, but people forget about Alfa Romeo. And I think a car like this is actually something which is quite a good investment, and it's proven. The car was listed for 110. One just sold at collecting cars for 200 grand. Another one sold at DK as well. They had one last week as well, so they had it up for 225. So they would have sold that for 220, whatever they did. So two sold very, very quickly. They've almost doubled their value in 10 years, whatever they are. So I think, it's only one of 500 in the world.
Wow.
Only 41 came to the UK.
Anything special about the engine?
Yeah, well, it was derived. It was a 4.7 litre V8 derived from, so built by Ferrari, assembled by Maserati. It was a bit of a thing with this one, but it's just as like when Clarkson reviewed the car back in 2008.
The engine was built by Ferrari.
Yep, assembled by Maserati.
Yeah, and it's an Alfa Romeo.
And they put into an Alfa Romeo. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's got that. I mean, it's just a thing of beauty, though, isn't it? You look at it when Clarkson reviewed it, he said it drove like a Mustang. The steering was very bland, but he just goes, I don't care. Like, that sounds amazing, looks as this good. I would still own one. And you wouldn't think a car of that nature would sort of double its value, but it has. Yeah. So I think it's
interesting,
a nice car to invest in.
Okay, biggest mover in the market. GTC4 Lusso. It's taken a huge hit, right? So list price were around £250,000, and now you can pick up a 2017 example with 33,000 miles on the clock for £115,000.
Yep.
Really?
Yep, you can. It is a V8.
Lusso T.
Lusso T.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the V8 version.
Lusso then.
Is this a better option than a new SUV for winter?
100%.
Really?
I love the Lusos. I'd probably go for a V12 Lusso because it's funny you say that the Lusso Ts have lost so much value in the biggest mover. The V12 Lusos are actually very solid, and it's a good buy for anyone who's bought one.
And they're sitting around how much?
You get a nice one for 150, 160.
Okay.
But the Ts, the V8 rear-wheel drive cars, they made a load of them. And I remember them back in 2018, 19, whenever they were released, customers were told to buy those in order to get a Pista Spider or to get a special model. So that was one of those like Roma Portofino style cars where like they released the Lusso V12 and it was a popular car, and they said we're going to release a V8 version, but you're forced to buy it. So they probably made a lot more of those than they have of the V12 Lussos.
It's actually cheaper to pick up some used Lussos over getting a brand new Range Rover. So what would you go for?
Funny thing is the Lusso would probably be cheaper to insure in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as depreciation goes, it's quite low on them. The price is quite low, so there's not much more left to
Can't
lose.
see them falling much. And
Because FFs,
FFs have held their value really well.
Exactly.
If anything, they climbed up a bit.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's
So,
brilliant, huh? Okay, Celebrity Car of the Week. Manny Khoshbin, the famous US, I guess he's
Car
a bit
collector.
of an influencer as well because he's all over socials.
Did they go with the SLRs?
Yeah. And a big property magnate, tycoon. He's taken delivery of his Bugatti Ballade.
Ballade.
Ballade,
Ballade. In, huh?
Lead.
Ballade.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay, so it could be any of those three, right? In Newport Beach. It's limited just to 40 units. 8-litre W16 engine, 1,825 brake horsepower on race fuel, and it's £3.5 million approximately.
I hate him. I want one.
That looks like what? If you asked a 10-year-old boy what would they define as being the best supercar they've ever seen in their life, it's got to be that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that looks insane. That's part of the reason why I love the Jessica, because it looks so out there like that does.
I just think that looks insane. And, you know, if you're going to spend 3.5 million, you want it to look like that.
100%.
I love the headlights. They're crosses, aren't they?
That's
See, that
awesome.
looks, you spend £10 million on a classic car and it looks like another box of metal. That's what you expect when you're spending millions of pounds.
Exactly. So this guy is a prolific car collector. 8 Mercedes McLaren SLRs. He's got to have some foresight knowing that it's not just because, he likes SLRs. It's got to be because he knows that these things.
We've seen it. Yeah. We've seen it ourselves. We had a Mercedes McLaren SLR that we sold at the time for £170,000, and it had only 5,000 or 6,000 miles in it. That car right now would probably be valued at 350, 360.
What?
Yeah, in the space of 4 or 5 years.
Isn't that
so
brilliant?
that has jumped up massively, the SLRs.
That is
and it's quite
crazy.
hard to find a low mileage example. So if he's found a couple of low mileage ones worldwide, hold on to them. And we've seen the same thing. We've had people asking us, any low mileage, really good examples of SLRs, just let me know.
We need to call him up.
Yeah. Well, I doubt he's got
If
many
he's watching,
motive to
if
sell.
you're watching, Manny, just give us a call, yeah? McLaren Speedtail, Bugatti Chiron, Bugatti Veyron, Pagani Araya, McLaren P1, and a Mercedes AMG GT Black Series. That's just some of the cars that he's got.
Nice.
That lucky guy,
Yep.
obviously done something well in his life.
I was actually looking into this guy a while ago because, he's taken over the whole car scene.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think he's from Persia, but came into the States from Miami and with nothing, and then started off with some properties and got into that game. Now he's almost like this biggest property tycoon in Miami.
There you go.
So,
well, he's obviously done well, and I would, you know what? He's just a little bit more vocal about how well he's done. But we've got customers like that.
100%, yeah.
We've got customers like that, but they just don't really speak about it.
But that's why it's always cool to hear the story, and I always make a point whenever I'm dealing with a customer, ask them, like, what do you do? How do you do it? It's just, it's interesting to hear their stories.
And what their background was.
Yeah.
Just get them on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Okay. That seems like it's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And if you did, please make sure you like, subscribe. And until next time, see you later.